Military News revealed America's backup plan in case of war with China. The United States can no longer count on its Pacific air bases to be safe from missile attack during a war with China. On the contrary, a 2015 paper from the influential RAND Corporation noted that in the worst-case scenario, larger inaccurate attacks sustained over time against a less hardened posture could be devastating, causing large losses of aircraft and prolonged airfield closures. Kadena Air Base in Okinawa, due to its relative proximity, would be hardest hit. To up the stakes, China in September 2015 publicly revealed its DF-26 ballistic missile, which can strike Andersen Air Force Base in Guam, nearly 3,000 miles away from the Chinese mainland. Andersen and Kadena are among the U.S. military's largest and most important overseas bases. Enter Tinian. The lush, small island near Guam is emerging as one of the Air Force's backup landing bases. On February 10, the Flying Branch announced that it selected Tinian as a divert airfield in the event access to Andersen Air Force Base, Guam, or other Western Pacific locations is limited or denied. Quote, in the Pentagon's 2017 budget request, it asked for $9 million to buy 17.5 acres of land in support of divert activities and exercise initiatives. The Saipan Tribune reported, in peacetime, the expanded Tinian airfield will host up to 12 tanker aircraft and associated support personnel. For divert operations, according to the Air Force, Tinian is now a sleeping place. During World War II, the 4th and 2nd Marine Divisions captured the island, which later based the B-29 super fortresses Enola Gay and Bokar, which took off from Tinian's North Field and dropped the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, an arsenal during the war. Most of its airstrips are now abandoned and unused. The island's other former airbase, Westfield, is a small, neglected international airport. The Air Force first wanted Saipan for its airfield. Very close to Tinian, Saipan has 15 times the population, a larger airport and a harbor. But this proposal met opposition from local activists due to the effect on coral, potable water, local transportation and socio-economic factors on surrounding communities. Quote, Stars and Stripes reported, the opposition even included the pro-business Saipan Chamber of Commerce, which worried that Tinian's rusty airport would miss out on the flood of Pentagon spending. Saipan's airport is also overcrowded, with locals not happy about the prospect of hundreds of airmen flying in for military exercises lasting up to 8 weeks every year. In a way, it's a return to the past. The United States dispersed air bases to varying degrees and in different parts of the world during the Cold War, but as the threat of a Soviet missile attack evaporated and post-Persian Gulf War budget cuts hit hard in the 1990s, the trend shifted toward larger megabases that operate on economies of scale. But dispersed bases are more survivable, RAND's Alan Vick noted in his 2015 paper. Dispersing aircraft across many bases creates redundancy in operating surfaces and facilities. This enhances basic safety of flight by providing bases for weather or in-flight emergency diverts. It also increases the number of airfields that adversary forces must monitor and can greatly complicate the targeting problem, in part by raising the prospect that friendly forces might move among several bases, at the least. Dispersal, because it increases the ratio of runways to aircraft forces and attack it to devote considerably more resources to runway attacks than would be the case for a concentrated force. It also greatly increases construction and operating costs to spread aircraft across many major bases. To mitigate these costs, dispersal bases tend to have more modest facilities and, at times, might be nothing more than airstrips. Robert Beckhausen is the managing editor of War is Boring.
I'm James Vallis, and this is a BNO News Alert. A 6.3 magnitude earthquake has been detected at a nuclear test site in North Korea, a strong indication that the reclusive country has carried out a nuclear test, that according to seismologists and officials. It would be the country's sixth nuclear test. The earthquake, which struck at 12 p.m. local time on Sunday, was centered in North Hamgyong province, which is where all 5 of the country's previous nuclear tests have taken place. There was no immediate confirmation on whether a nuclear test had been carried out, but past nuclear tests caused seismic readings that matched Sunday's event. The earthquake had a preliminary magnitude of 6.3 according to the U.S. Geological Survey. Both Japan and South Korea said they believed that North Korea had carried out a nuclear test. A 6th nuclear test is certain to provoke international condemnation and a new round of sanctions. It would also mark the first nuclear test since Donald Trump took office as President of the United States.
Sun Tower, good afternoon. Running 27 right, one estimated 080 at 3, clear for takeoff, change your departure, have a safe flight.
At Osan Air Base, a U.S. air base in South Korea, they are watching. Sending these spy planes dubbed Dragon Lady up over the Korean peninsula.
We're busier here than we've been probably in the last 10 years. We're very busy. But we are tasked every day to fly our mission, so we do that.
Pressurized suits allow pilots to soar at altitudes of 70,000 feet. That's twice as high as a commercial jet. The one-seater spy planes are flown by 8 specially trained officers. The job to provide intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance. A window for Washington into North Korea needed now as much as ever.
Everything that this aircraft is collecting is almost instantaneously sent down to people who can process, exploit, and disseminate that information in minutes to our leadership.
We would be ready to launch operations out of both airspaces or both air bases at a moment's notice and be ready to fight tonight.
Major Danny Trueblood is on a 2-year tour to South Korea, taking up a job that U.S. troops have done for decades, since the end of the Korean War.
The F-16s are pivotal to to basically the defense and any potential actions. So with GPS or laser-guided weapons, we can strike a variety of different targets.
This U.S. airbase is fewer than 40 miles from the North Korean border. These supersonic jets can fly about 16 miles a minute. So in the case of a conflict with North Korea, they could reach the DMZ in just 2 to 3 minutes.
They practice daily, sometimes with mock battles. On this day, 12 of the Air Force's F-16 fighter jets take off.
Because we don't know. With the unpredictability of things, tonight may be, in fact, the night. So we train every night.
Still the same work they've done every day for decades. Now with the world watching what happens next.